I just got one more video to make. Life is balanced. So I just made a video called myself trying to make a video about lovers, and but all things have a balance, and so I want to like bring another side with that is that sometimes loving and lovers and loving doesn't work out. I know a lot of times love hasn't worked out for me. Whatever ideas I had about love, or whatever little um, whatever little things I had, a lot of times it didn't work out. But what I was thinking is that so if you think about like, so what happens when so like so like a lot of times like you might see things like I think the most important thing in life is justice, and the deepest part of life, even within even deeper than love and loving, but part of that, but deeper than that, is justice. Justice is really important. So you would see like, we see sometimes different controversy in the media about like when loving went really wrong, like with maybe like famous people or wealthy people, married or not, when loving really went wrong. And you can say that maybe both, if people were ever lovers or were people were ever actually lovers, there would be something of a people wanted to love, but it might not have worked out. But what's still important at all points of that is justice. And so because there's no equality without justice. There's no peace without justice. There's no joy without peace. There's no love without joy. There's no life without love. So it's still justice that's very important. And sometimes you see like things on that would be like the more extreme example, like people fighting like in the court of public opinion, or the legal court. And it's actually interesting how the court of public opinion is almost more formidable now. Maybe that might have to do with like lifestyles and like the actual real power, economic, social, and political of social media is very powerful. But then so that would inform public opinion as being even maybe at a certain point, the court of public opinion may actually replace, or at least directly inform and have oversight over legal courts. And some people might say it already does. And maybe legal courts have been the court of public opinion to start with. But with that is that what's the most fundamental form of justice is economic justice. I think economic means home, and all of life, a lot of our life, it has to do with the footing that we either started out with at home when we were in families, and then when we have our own home, or we don't have a home, but we at least have liberty to walk the earth and do for ourselves. That a lot of that footing in the circumstances that would be surmountable, manageable, or not, as in terms of the footing we're on, it actually stems from what we experience in the home. And the Order Osho has said that there's a lot of our dynamics as humans, the things that we struggle with, or that we are not appreciated for, a lot of our difficulties in being with other people has to do with what we experience at home, the nuclear family. And I've said in other videos that our iteration of the nuclear family might be a function of feudalism. You belong to this landlord. In times past they called them lords. Now it's landlords. You belong to this landlord, this manor, like in times of Europe and whatnot, and then colonialism that stems from that value system. And these are your brothers and sisters, and that brother sister, that's a little bit, that might have to do with like inheritance of property and what are actual designated relationships to one another as a means of distributing and mitigating resources and duties and privileges, might be part of feudalism. But as we existed in nature, it may have been a little bit different. It may have actually been deeper, but still different than in that iteration of society. And I think that, so sometimes when we were calling each other brother and sister, the reality doesn't feel like those words convey, and that's because the reality actually is different than what those words convey. And those words can be a distraction, obstruction to what the real reality is, the real baseball between people, and that can be better or worse than what those words convey. But I think that within all that is that justice is very important. So, in economic justice, and also what we have for the nuclear family, according to Osho, is actually a great grounds of breeding a lot of our difficulty interpersonally and personally, and with ourselves and with other people, and so that can be a detriment of what's called the nuclear family, but in the home. But it's still economics. Whether we had been in a in a feudal system, a system that's a function of feudal living, or or even a commune like a avant-garde, or like a groundbreaking commune, like it's been attempted a lot. It's still within the realm of economics because it's still a home of some kind. Even a community that's out of doors is still a home, and so therefore it's economic, and it's economic. When you're dealing with people, when you're dealing with yourself, when you're dealing with life, you are in economic terms, that is terms of home, and so there's really so maybe that's why you would call someone homeless, because you might be backpacking, you might be well-to-do, or you might be a globetrotter or a jet setter, and you don't have a home as people would traditionally understand the word home. But still, when they're saying home, they're saying economic. So when you're saying a person's homeless, you're saying they're economically displaced or disenfranchised wheresoever they're sleeping at night. And so, but I think that when things come, when it comes down to justice, the most fundamental justice is economics, because whether and as and after we're together with anyone or with ourselves, we still have living to do, and that's a function, and we'll therefore have to have a home of some kind. That is the ability to do for ourselves and support ourselves in a place to rest. And so all considerations of justice, I think, rest upon economics. So therefore all dealings rest upon economics. So when things don't work out, like when romance doesn't work out, which a lot of times it doesn't work out, or it doesn't even get to start to not work out, what's going to be significant is economics, because we still have healing to do, we still have growing to do, we still have learning to do, we still have loving to do, we still have living to do, and that all requires economics. So I think that all I'm saying with this is that we need to be economically just with all people, people related to us, people called our brother, our sister, people not called our brother or sister, which should still be at least respected as closely as who we call our brother or sister. All people deserve economic justice, because all people deserve to live and enjoy life, and that requires justice, and that requires economics. And I'm saying the deepest justice is economic justice. So we should be economically just with one another. So if you get into a situation where, like when it doesn't work with lovers, I was talking to someone, and they were talking about something they've been through coming out of a relationship, and it came down to economics. And I think they got some of what they wanted, and they got some of what they didn't want, but they were okay with what they got coming out of something economically, and that's very significant. And I think we don't get to have our cake and eat it too, but we can have justice, and we are I don't know that we're entitled to anything but justice. We're entitled to justice. And so I think that when things don't work out, like you see a lot of videos on online, they proliferate about toxic relationships, toxic people, how horrible they are, how difficult they are to get away from. A lot of that's true, but if you wanted a solution to that, the solution might not be in terms of like spirituality can help you cope with your existence of living, which you are a spirit, and so there's spiritual implications of you existing. But with the more fundamental, the nuts and bolts, what's going to amount to change, the changes that we seek, that we need, that we deserve, that we desire, it's a function of economics. So therefore, we should be just with each other and humane with each other, even people we don't get along with, even as things are working and not working out in intimate relationships, personal relationships, family relationships. What's significant is the economic justice and being just and equitable with each other as we come into, exist within, and exit relationships. At all points of that, economic justice is very important. So I just want to say that for all the things as they're working, but then sometimes as they don't work out, like with the things like when in relationships don't work out, whether at the personal level or the grand level in terms of media, all that's very painful and difficult. But what's significant in it is justice, and what's significant within justice is economics. So I'm just saying that economics is really a solution to a lot of our challenges with ourselves and with people, whether in families or in relationships, is just to be humane as it comes to economics. And we don't get all of what we want, when we want it, how we want it, where we want it, why we want it. But I think we can have enough of what we need, when we need it, where we need it, how we need it, as we need it, why we need it. And that starts with just being humane and considering the best interests of one another, and one the other, and one in the same, and one as other. Remember that we all still have living and loving and learning to do, and that requires economics. So let's be humane and just around economics. Peace.